Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So, before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you all. If you guys have not smashed that like button yet, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell and subscribed, make sure you guys hit the bell and subscribed, and make sure that you follow MAGATRON on Twitter. All right. The link is not in the description box. The link is on the channel profile page. So make sure you guys do that. I'm going to shout out everybody who is in the building early. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up. If you guys cannot hear me, then give me a thumbs down or an angry face. All right, we got Lloyd Sky 9 in the building. My man Lloyd Sky 9 says, Magatronians, roll out. Hey, man, how petty is this? How petty is this? You know what I'm saying? How petty is this? Shout out to Denise Scales. What's good with it, Denise? We got my man John Guillory in the building. And we got Tedra Mitchell. Good to see each and every one of y'all. We're going to do streams on this channel, y'all. We're going to get this channel lit. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a hilarious time. And we're going to actually be talking about some interesting stuff on here. So, you know what I'm saying? Get your get your red hat. You know what I'm saying? Get your red drink. You know what I'm saying? And let's get it. Let's get it. We're gonna talk about MAGATRON. We're gonna see what MAGATRON was up to. MAGATRON smashed Iowa. And then Vivek Ramaswamy was hugging all on him. You know what I'm saying? Like how some people get weird at the bar. How many people saw that video of Vivek Ramaswamy hanging all over Trump? Wanting to be the first one. Because that happened. You know what I'm saying? We're going to look at that on a later stream. All right. Trump easily wins Iowa GOP caucuses. Now, we all knew that this was going to happen. Former President Trump was projected to easily win Iowa caucuses in the first major test of the 2024 Republican primary race, according to Decision Desk HQ. Trump entered the Hawkeye State's caucuses with a double-digit lead in polling averages over his closest challengers. As observers noted, the former president appeared to be gaining strength in the state and pulling support from evangelical Iowans. All right. So now I want to ask you guys a question, right? There was an article that came out, and it was an article that came out from the New York Post. And this article that came out from the New York Post has said that all GOP challengers have more support than Joe Biden. How many people saw that article? If I get time, we'll be going over that article today. So hopefully I'll have some time and we'll be able to go over it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to win the Iowa caucuses, and then we're going to crush crooked Joe Biden next November, Trump told Iowans at a rally last month, weeks out from the caucus. Fox News rolled that clip at the start of a town hall broadcast with Trump last week, which aired at the same time rivals Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis were debating each other on CNN. Now, like, I want you guys to see this, right? Do you all see how Trump has got the built-in value chain in place where Fox News is automatically working with him to run interference on what the other candidates have going? If you guys can see that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys can't see that, give me a thumbs down. That's important. That's extremely important. Okay? While Decision Desk HQ called the race for Trump just before 9 p.m. Eastern, the second place winner was still up in the air with Haley and DeSantis neck and neck for runner-up. DeSantis invested heavily in Iowa, securing the covenant endorsement of Governor Kim Reynolds, and his projected loss to Trump is a major hurdle for him moving forward. Now, I don't think that there's anyone who thought that Ron DeSantis was going to do anything other than lose. I think that pretty much everybody was aware that DeSantis was going to be the loser. Is there anybody that thought that DeSantis was going to win? I don't think that anybody was confused about that. I don't think that anybody thought DeSantis was going to win. The people of Iowa sent a clear message tonight. Donald Trump will be the next Republican nominee for president. Now, how many people heard about the comments that Nikki Haley made? Because Nikki made more interesting comments about race. We're going to try to talk about those today as well. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. What's good with it, bro? Now it's time to make him the next president of the United States, said Alex Pfeiffer, communications director for the pro-Trump super PAC, Make America Great Again Incorporated, in a statement after the Iowa race was called. The focus of the race will now turn to New Hampshire, and we're going to be covering New Hampshire, all right? Like I said, I'm going to try to boom these live streams out. I'm going to try to bust this New Hampshire information out today, all right? So make sure y'all got the notification bells hit. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys are subscribed on Twitter to MAGATRON, all right? The Twitter is MAGATRON, is at MAGATRON 645. All right. Gotta be 645. You know what I'm saying? Gotta be 645. You know what I'm saying? So now here's this, which will hold its first in the nation Republican primary on January 23rd. All right. So we're gonna be peeping that. We're gonna be following New Hampshire. There, Haley has been gaining on Trump, and the state could serve as a backstop after her Iowa loss, though the former president still has a substantial edge in the Granite State. Strategists have suggested that a Trump win in both Iowa and New Hampshire could seal the deal for the rest of the election cycle, making it nearly impossible for another GOP candidate to catch up before the general. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all think that Trump is going to win in New Hampshire? If you think that Trump is going to win in New Hampshire, give me a thumbs up. If you guys do not think that Trump is going to win in New Hampshire, then give me a thumbs down. I think that MAGATRON is going to take it in New Hampshire. You know what I'm saying? I think that MAGATRON got this. Shout out to Crew Reality. What's good with it, bro? B1. So now here it says, in Trump's 2016 presidential bid, he lost Iowa to then candidate Senator Ted Cruz before going on to win New Hampshire and then the nomination. This time around, he's running as a de facto incumbent to try to get back to the White House. But the former president faces substantial challenges to his campaign, including multiple criminal indictments and ongoing legal battles in courtrooms across the country. So now what I'm going to try to do on this channel is we're going to try to cover some of these court issues that Trump got going on this channel. All right, that's one of the things that we're going to try to do over here. If that's something that y'all are interested in, give me a thumbs up. If that's not something that y'all are interested in, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to everybody that's watching, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If y'all haven't hit that like button yet, please take a moment. Hit that like button. Y'all know what to do. Get that algorithm activated. Hit that like button. We got 10 people watching and we got 15 likes. Let's get that to 20. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know we can do it. All right. In a handful of states, he also faces efforts to remove him from the ballot. Colorado's Supreme Court ruled last month that Trump is disqualified from competing in the race under the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause, finding that he violated his own oath with his actions around January 6th of 2021. Maine Secretary of State also disqualified Trump under the 14th Amendment, but Trump has framed his legal issues as political attacks, arguing that he's the victim of a witch hunt as he vies for another term. His fellow Republican candidates have also been in a bind as they've worked to campaign against him without alienating his supporters. Now, how do you do that? That's a difficult situation for a lot of those other GOP people to be in. And we're going to definitely touch on that. I agree 100%, Tedra. Tedra says, it's funny that Nikki Haley would say the stuff that she's saying, seeing how she changed her name. Facts. Super facts. At the CNN debate in Iowa last week, Haley and DeSantis cautioned against another Trump term, but largely focused their fire on each other. Former Governor Chris Christie dropped out of the race last week, surprising some by announcing his exit before the New Hampshire primary, where he focused his resources heavily. Though Christie took the move as an opportunity to warn against Trump as president for another 4 years, he also caught on a hot mic disparaging both Haley and DeSantis. How many people knew about that Chris Christie hot mic? Chris Christie was on that hot mic talking wild about DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Trump, during his Fox News town hall, shrugged off the idea that Haley could benefit from Christie's exit and give him a run for his money in the Granite State. I have polls that show me leading by a tremendous amount in New Hampshire and a lot in Iowa. Yeah, here goes when it comes to Trump. Anytime Trump says he has quote unquote information, can we say that it's delusion? Can we say that it's delusion? You know what I'm saying? Is that safe? I have polls that show me leading by tremendous amounts in New Hampshire and a lot in Iowa. And nationwide, we're leading by almost 60 points. So I'm not exactly worried about it, Trump said at the town hall. I think we're going to do very well in New Hampshire. All right. So we will definitely be tracking New Hampshire. And to be honest, not because I'm a fan, just because of how things have been going. I think that Trump is probably going to do well everywhere. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why is Ron DeSantis having so much trouble? Why are things going so bad for Ron DeSantis? I think that's a question that people should pay attention to. Because if you ask me, he might be the next one to drop out of the race. And I got to agree. I got to agree with Denise. Denise says 45's fan base wants him back badly. Yeah, facts. If you guys agree with Denise, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Trump notches a combination win in the Iowa caucuses as DeSantis edges Haley for second place. Should DeSantis be edging Haley for second place? I would have thought that DeSantis would have had an overwhelming win against Nikki Haley. You know what I'm saying? Let's check this out real quick.
Well, I want to thank everybody. This has been some period of time, and most importantly, we want to thank the great people of Iowa. Thank you. We love you all. What a turnout, what a crowd. And I really think this is time now for everybody, our country, to come together. We want to come together, whether it's Republican or Democrat or liberal or conservative. It would be so nice if we could come together and straighten out the world and straighten out the problems and straighten out all of the death and destruction that we're witnessing.
Straighten out reparations, right? Straighten out getting that check written.
That's practically never been like this. It's just so important. And I want to make that a very big part of our message. We're going to come together. It's going to happen soon, too. It's going to happen soon. I want to congratulate Ron and Nikki for having a good time together. We're all having a good time together. And I think they both actually did very well. I really do. I think they both did very well. So it's now off to New Hampshire, a great place. We won it last time, and we won it both times. And we love it. The people are great. But you know, the truth is the people in our country are great. They're all great. We love Iowa, but they're all great. They only want to see one thing. They want our country to come back. I just want to thank you all. This is a very special night. And this is the first, because the big night is going to be in November. when we take back our country, and truly, we do make our country great again. Thank you very much, everybody. Great honor. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Man, oh man. So now here it says former President Donald Trump scored a record-setting win in the Iowa caucuses on Monday, with his rivals languishing far behind, a victory that affirmed his grip on the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. In what was the lowest turnout caucus in a quarter century, participants endured life-threatening cold and dangerous driving conditions to meet in hundreds of schools, churches, and community centers across the state. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many of you all would have came out for this? How many of you all would have came out for this? If you all would have come out for the Iowa caucus, give me a thumbs up. If you would not have come out for the Iowa caucus, then give me a thumbs down. So now here it said, but those who ventured out delivered a roughly 30-point win for Trump that smashed the record for a contested Iowa Republican caucus, with a margin of victory exceeding Bob Dole's nearly 13 percentage point victory in 1988. Okay. Trump finished with 51% of the vote. So he had greater than half. Denise said, Miss Nisi said, "Hell to the no, no, no." She said, "Hell no, hell no, hell no, hell to the no, no, no." Yeah, man, you got me bent, man. Ain't no way I'm going outside in all that cold to come up here and do that. You know what I'm saying? But despite the fact that we didn't leave out the house to do anything, and most of us don't live in that state anyway, Trump finished with 51% of the vote, with 99% of votes counted. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis won just over 21%, edging former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley at 19%. Ron DeSantis just barely beat Nikki Haley. He just barely beat Nikki Haley. The results left Trump with a tighter grip on the GOP nomination, though it could take several more months for anyone to formally become the party's standard bearer. The magnitude of Trump's victory, however, has posed significant questions for both DeSantis and Haley. Neither candidate appeared poised to exit the race, though they leave Iowa struggling to claim making much progress in trying to become Trump's strongest challenger. Yeah, there was only a 2-point spread between Haley and DeSantis. Whoo! I can only imagine, Miss Nisi, single-digit temperatures with snow. Be safe down there. You know what I'm saying? So now it says here, we want to come together, whether it's Republican or Democrat or liberal conservative, he said. We're going to come together. It's going to happen soon. So now what Trump is trying to do here when he says this kind of stuff is he's trying to get that casual moderate vote that Joe Biden and them was trying to get. You know what I'm saying? He's what Trump is trying to do is he's trying to get some disgruntled Democrats that can be turned red. And I think that he'll easily do it because there's a lot of disgruntled Democrats. A lot of people already looking to turn red. Yeah, this storm is crazy, man. There's some places that have negative temperatures. You know what I'm saying? Some places got negative temperatures. Shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate each and every one of you all who's watching. We got 15 people watching and we got 17 likes. I know we can get that over 20. Smash that like button. If you guys haven't shared the stream, share the stream. So now here it says the GOP contest moves swiftly to New Hampshire, which will hold the first in the nation primary on January 23rd. A shrinking field will compete there after conservative entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy suspended his campaign after a disappointing fourth-place finish and endorsed Trump. DeSantis first heads to South Carolina on Tuesday, a conservative stronghold where the February 24 contest could prove pivotal. He will head later in the day, New Hampshire. Because of your support, in spite of all of what they threw at us, we got our ticket punched out of Iowa, DeSantis told supporters. Not only did you get your ticket punched out, you got punched out of the frame and you got your face punched the way that you got beat in Iowa, bruh. Haley plans to compete vigorously in New Hampshire, where she hopes to be more successful with the state's independent voters. When you look at how well we're doing in New Hampshire and South Carolina and beyond, I can safely say tonight Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race, she said. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys something. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis are both delusional, and I think that Trump is going to win by an avalanche in Nikki Haley's own state. By the time they get to Florida, DeSantis is probably going to be out of the race already because he's not going to want to be beat in his own state. You know what I'm saying? And I got to agree with Miss Nisi. If you guys agree with Miss Nisi, give me a thumbs up. 45, MAGATRON wants disgruntled Democrats with the swing vote. Facts. Super facts. In a preview of a remarkable balancing act Trump may have to manage in the months ahead, as he was expected to be in court in New York on Tuesday. A jury is posed to consider whether he should pay additional damages to a columnist last year who won a $5 million jury award against Trump for sex abuse and defamation. It's just one of multiple legal challenges facing the former president. After visiting the court, Trump will fly to New Hampshire to hold a rally on Tuesday evening. Trump has made courtroom visits a part of his campaign, heading to court voluntarily twice last week while his opponents campaigned in Iowa in a strategy designed to portray him as a victim of a politicized legal system. Among Republican voters, at least, the approach is working. Now, let me ask you guys this. Why do you all think that that's working? And let's ask your opinions. Do you all think that that's working? Do you all believe that Trump is just this brave victim? Trump is a brave victim of a politicized legal system. You know, it's funny. A lot of these people, they actually call this the quote unquote two-tier justice system. Now, I got to ask y'all a question. I'm asking everybody this question. What do they know about a two-tier justice system besides how to benefit from one? That's my question. What do they know about a two-tier justice system besides how to benefit from one and how to use it to abuse other people and how to use it to shut up people that they don't like to hear what they have to say? What they know about a damn two-tier justice system besides how to weaponize it and then act like they didn't do it? Trump has made courtroom visits a part of his campaign, heading to court voluntarily twice last week while his opponents campaigned in Iowa, in a strategy designed to portray him as a victim of a politicized legal system. I want you guys to commit that to memory because as we move forward, we're going to talk about it. Shout out to Miss Nisi. She said 45 is a ninja, you know? That's why he got them. That's why he got those aviators on. You know what I'm saying? That's why he got them aviators on. And that leather jacket. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable. So now here it says the Associated Press declared Trump the winner at 7:31 p.m. CST based on an analysis of early returns as well as results of AP Votecast of more than 1,500 voters who said that they plan to take part in the caucuses. Both showed Trump with an insurmountable lead. Okay. Initial results from 8 counties showed Trump with far more than half of the total votes counted as of 7:31 p.m., with the rest of the field trailing far behind. These counties included rural areas that are demographically and politically similar to a large number of counties that had yet to report. The Associated Press determined at 11:17 p.m. CST that DeSantis finished a distant second to Trump. With an estimated 10% of ballots remaining to be counted, DeSantis led Haley by approximately 2,300 votes, or about 2 percentage points. With votes reported in all but one of Iowa's 99 counties, Haley wasn't doing well enough anywhere to catch DeSantis based on the number of outstanding votes. Now, let me ask you all this question. Of all of the raw data and all of the raw data reports that we've read, as far as like the Gallup survey and all of that stuff, have the results that we've seen as far as these elections and as far as these election results, have they for the most part trended in the way that we expected them to? If they have, give me a thumbs up. If they have not, then give me a thumbs down. And I want people to place their bets early, because that's another thing that we're gonna do on this channel is we're gonna be placing bets and we're gonna guess and we're gonna have some fun. I want to know what percentages you guys think Trump is gonna blow everybody out on in New Hampshire. That's what I'm curious about. I want to know what you guys think about that. Trump showed significant strength amongst Iowa's urban, small town, and rural communities, according to AP Votecast. I didn't even know Iowa had an urban community. He also performed well with evangelical Christians and those without a college degree. Now, that's interesting. Let me ask you this. Is that something that you should brag about? Now, I find this interesting, right? Because a lot of these people tend to say that, quote unquote, college is liberal indoctrination. So it's a justification that they try to utilize to pass stupid people off as having somewhat of a brain. You know, education is nothing but legal liberal indoctrination anyway. It is. Basically, what that means is that, you know, if you're one of the good old boys and you're stupid, the reason why it's okay for you to be stupid is because you're resisting liberal indoctrination. But the reality of it is that you're just stupid. And they're making an excuse for you because that's what they do. They make excuses. I got to agree with all of you all in the comment section. Shout out to DC Precise. Shout out to John Guillory. Similar results. I think we're going to see very similar results. If anything, I think we might actually see Trump win with a larger margin. And I think that the pace, for Trump winning with larger margins is going to increase. But I think that's what we're going to see going forward. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, and a majority of caucus goers said they identify with Trump's Make America Great Again movement. Now, we saw what the people looked like that went to that caucus. So it's not surprising that they would identify with that quote unquote Make America Great Again movement. And we saw that Trump made a very plain, simple, and easy to understand distinction when it comes to Vivek Ramaswamy, that, my dude, you have the most melanin in the room and you ain't one of us. He made that very clear out of his own mouth. And Vivek Ramaswamy still wanted to, get a hug and all of that good stuff. One relative weakness for Trump comes in the suburbs, where only a third of voters supported him. Now, that's interesting. Iowa has been an uneven predictor of who will ultimately lead Republicans into the general election. So this is a statistical anomaly that we might want to pay attention to. Iowa has been an uneven predictor of who will ultimately lead Republicans into the general election. George W. Bush's 2000 victory was the last time a Republican candidate won in Iowa and went on to become the party's nominee. But Trump's success tells a remarkable story of a Republican Party unwilling or unable to move from a flawed front runner. He lost to Biden in 2020 after fueling near constant chaos while in the White House, culminating with his supporters carrying out a deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. In total, he faces 91 felony charges across 4 criminal cases. Now, that's interesting, right? Let me ask you guys your take on that. How many of you all feel that there was constant turmoil while Trump was in the White House? If you feel that there was constant turmoil while Trump was in the White House, give me a thumbs up. If you don't feel that that's an accurate depiction of what was going on while Trump was in the White House, then give me a thumbs down. I don't think that that's an accurate depiction. I think that that's an exaggerated depiction. You know what I'm saying? I think Trump had more chaos going on Twitter than he had it going on in the White House. I'm saying I'm just keeping it a buck. So now here it says the U.S. Supreme Court is weighing whether states have the ability to block Trump from the ballot for his role in sparking the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the Capitol. And he's facing criminal trials in Washington and Atlanta for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Trump has increasingly echoed authoritarian leaders and framed his campaign as one of retribution. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Who is going to be the first to get retribution if Trump wins? Shout out to Corey George. What's good with it? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it really wasn't much going on in the White House except for people getting fired. Yeah, Trump was just, doing his apprentice thing. You're fired, I didn't think it was too chaotic, though. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Ramen noodles. Me like you a long time. You know what I'm saying? Clown. He has spoken openly about using the power of government to pursue his political enemies. Who are Trump's political enemies? He has repeatedly harnessed rhetoric once used by Mustache Guy to argue that immigrants entering the United States illegally are poisoning the blood of our country. Now, are we not allowed to talk about issues that we have with people entering the country illegally? We're supposed to give people that enter the United States illegally praises? Oh yeah, I heard about that, Miss Nisi. Fanny being subpoenaed in her lover's divorce proceedings. I heard about that. She got a lot going on. A lot of these cats got a lot going on. Got a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And he recently shared a word cloud last week to his social media account highlighting revenge, power, and dictatorship. Trump's legal challenges appear to have done little to damage his reputation. Many of his supporters view the charges through a political lens. About 3/4 of Iowans responding to the AP Votecast said the charges against Trump are political attempts to undermine him rather than legitimate attempts to investigate important issues. Now, here we go. Now, you notice what them evangelicals said. God called us to do that to support Trump, said a 64-year-old David Lage, donning a captain's hat at Trump's victory party. Oh man, you know what was going on over there. And homeboy had a captain's hat on. The Lord called us to do this good work. Oh man. Man. Man, oh man. You know what I'm saying? So let me see what else we got real quick. Okay. Trying to figure out how we should do this here. All right. Let me see. So check this out. The Hill has an article that talks about 4 ways that Iowa underline Trump's near inevitability as GOP nominee. Now, if the Hill is putting out articles that are saying, Trump is probably more than likely going to be the GOP nominee, this, for the most part, is what we're expecting. Yeah, I gotta agree. Shout out to Tedra Mitchell. Tedra says, growing up in New York and knowing the stuff Trump did, nothing that he does surprises me. Facts. Super facts. All right, let's listen to this.
Going on. Our country is laughed at. All over the world, they're laughing at us. MAGA, make America great again. And America first. America.
Now, check this out. Your boy got some your boy got some merch ideas for MAGATRON, and I think that you guys are gonna like them. You're gonna crack up laughing. It's gonna be hilarious. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hilarious. So if there's anybody in here that would be interested in MAGATRON merch, throw some flames in the chat. If you guys are not interested in MAGATRON merch, then I won't make it. I got some good ideas though, and it's hilarious. And of course, it looks dope. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not interested, I get it. Give me a thumbs down. Let's go.
America first is a very important part of MAGA.
Dominating, decisive, and defiant, former President Donald Trump won the Republican Iowa caucus with 51% of the vote, a caucus record. And his campaign now heads into next week's New Hampshire primary with momentum against GOP rival Nikki Haley. Haley is polling second to Trump in New Hampshire, but she finished third in Iowa behind Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a devastating blow for a campaign that so desperately wanted an upset.
70% of Americans don't want another Trump-Biden rematch.
They threw everything but the kitchen sink at us. The media was against us. They were writing our obituary months ago. They even called the election before people even got a chance to vote.
While Haley and DeSantis will...
Hey, I agree, bro. I agree. How many of you all would be down for a fully customizable action figure of MAGATRON? Hey, and when you pull the string on the back, it'll do the music. It'll do the MAGATRON music. Yo, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Shout out to True Essence 87. What's good with the True Essence? Yo, that'd be hilarious. I gotta figure out how to get an action figure made, bro. Once I figure out how to get an action figure made, we're getting, not only are we getting MAGATRON customizable action figures, we're gonna get like different, we're gonna have like Gucci MAGATRON, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have street MAGATRON. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have evangelical MAGATRON. Bro, we're gonna have a full spectrum of MAGATRONs. Like, that shit about to be lit.
Soldier on. Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out of the race and backed Trump.
As of this moment, we are going to suspend this presidential campaign. There is no path for me to be the next president.
As for President Biden, the Democrats announced that he raised a record.
Hey, that's crazy how they just cut Vivek off where it's that's crazy how they just cut it off. You know what I'm saying? With Vivek saying there's no path for me to be the next president. Yo, Lloyd Sky 9, we need to put that the plasma arm cannon on MAGATRON, and that bad boy will be red. A red arm cannon on MAGATRON, bro. Oh man, that's hilarious, bro. I've been laughing about MAGATRON ever since, you know what I'm saying, we came up with this hilarious ass shit. I've literally been dying laughing, bro. The thumbnails and the graphics and all of the craziness on this channel is about to be so extreme and offensive. It's gonna be hilarious. I'm telling you, y'all gonna be dying laughing.
$97 million last quarter alone in fundraising, adding to a $117 million war chest of cash on hand. Joining us now with reaction is my friend and colleague, The Hill's Julia Manchester. Julia, you're in Iowa, but now all focus heads to New Hampshire. Can Haley hold on?
So again, we're going to be covering New Hampshire. And for the most part, you know what I'm saying, as far as anything goes, when it comes to to Trump, right? Trump, all will be on this channel. Anything else political will be probably on Blacklight Revelations 1 or 2. All Trump content will be on this channel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, instead of saying fire, he'll say you're fired. You know what I'm saying? He'll tell the cannon you're fired, and then it'll shoot. Oh man, bro, that's hilarious.
You know, Kevin, I think Haley will certainly have a better time in New Hampshire than she had in Iowa. Look, I think it was questionable whether she was going to even place second in Iowa. We saw some of those early polls showing her beating DeSantis, but a lot of GOP sources I've spoke to on the ground here said they questioned that margin in those data, saying that they thought DeSantis was being underestimated. So as Haley goes into New Hampshire, she'll be given a fresh slate, because we do know that New Hampshire is a very different Republican primary electorate. For someone like Ron DeSantis, it's going to be more difficult, though, because Iowa was probably a better electorate for him than a New Hampshire or even a South Carolina.
So for DeSantis' campaign, though, I mean, play this forward. Both Haley as well as DeSantis got crushed by Donald Trump. I mean, it was not close. He set a major record, not even just beating the margin of victory record, a huge record. In any other election year, Julia, this race would be announced over. So how much longer can these two campaigns go on? Is it all over after New Hampshire?
You know, Kevin, I got flashbacks to 2016 last night when we see these victory parties at, for second and third place in so many states when Donald Trump would win. It kind of reminded me of that. But look, I think New Hampshire may be a final straw. If Haley is able to have a good performance and run a close margin with Trump, same thing for DeSantis, though it doesn't seem like he'll do that in New Hampshire, then we'll see the fight go to South Carolina. I think we'll probably see these two candidates fight on until South Carolina. DeSantis is going to South Carolina today. However, it's hard to see how they end up on top, because last night proved that this is Trump's party, the Republican Party, and the primary electorate is very squarely.
Yeah, I gotta agree. To me, right, what is going on here is that Trump, for the most part, is ingraining and reinforcing the fact that he is indeed the Republican frontrunner, and that there's not really anybody else who's going to even be capable of putting up a challenge against him. Let me ask you guys this. Is there any Republican candidate that you all think could possibly give Trump a possibility of an upset? And if so, who?
Behind him. We know they varied from state to state, so New Hampshire could be more favorable to a candidate like Haley, but Trump won in New Hampshire in 2016, so he has a leg up there.
And he's got a lot of relationships there too, especially in the northern part of the state.
All right, so there's that. All right. So now here it says, former President Trump has always been the favorite to win the 2024 GOP presidential nomination. Now think about this, right? I want you guys to just sit back and think about this. How would you feel if you were a GOP candidate and you're doing everything that you possibly can, and Trump is not even going to debates, not even going to meetings, having interviews at the same time as you're supposed to be getting publicity, and not interacting with any of the candidates, trashing you every opportunity that he gets, and he's still just effortlessly beating you at a large margin? How would you feel if that was going on? Shout out to John Guillory. John Guillory said, man, bro, if you get this channel monetized, the Trump grift will be wild. Bro, we getting this channel monetized, and the Trump grift finna be wild. It's finna be wild. They're going to be so mad at this channel, bro, because it's going to have the best Trump content that they can possibly get, but we're going to be going in on Trump's ass so damn much, they're going to be mad. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna have to sit there and listen to it anyway, because they know that we gonna be doing it better than they do it, because that's just how we do. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we do. Oh, well, can you lighten up? No. Maybe with some super chats. Maybe if you help to close the racial wealth gap with some super chats. And sending me some super chats is not going to do shit for the racial wealth gap. Right. AB Promotions facts. Nobody. Do. You know what I'm saying? But his performance in Monday's Iowa caucuses made clear what a mountain his party rivals need to climb to beat him, which it's an insurmountable mountain. They're not going to beat him. It's not going to happen. That's exactly my point, Tedra. Facts. That's exactly what I'm saying. Tedra said they should be embarrassed that they are being beat by a guy who hasn't done any debates and is being indicted on charges every other day. Yo, that's facts. And on top of this, right? So check this out. If the Republicans need to be embarrassed about that, right? Check out the Democrats. We're going to look at that article. Joe Biden is getting such little support that all of the Republican candidates are polling better than Joe Biden right now. I'm going to ask y'all this question. What does that mean? What that means, if you ask me, is what Lloyd Sky 9 is saying here in his comment section. I don't disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if you say it verbally on social media, they'd be mad at you. So now here it says Trump's fate in a general election is a much different matter, of course. He has lost the popular vote both times he has run, in 2016 and in 2020. And that was before the Capitol riot of January 6, 2021, or Trump's 4 indictments on 91 criminal charges. Most polls show former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley beating President Biden by a wider margin than Trump does, though the polling on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' chances against Biden is much definitive. So I think it's safe to say that for the most part, everybody has soured on Ron DeSantis, which is interesting. He played himself. You know what I'm saying? Homeboy played himself. In any event, the prize immediately in front of Trump is the Republican nomination. Here are 4 reasons why it's hard to see how it can be pried from his grasp. Okay. His voters show up. I gotta agree with that. Trump's voter base is very loyal, and you seen they literally went through crazy conditions to go to that caucus. Now, I wouldn't have done that, but they did. And they did it, and look at how their candidate did. That's something that people need to note. Because that matters. You know what I'm saying? Before the caucuses, there were legitimate questions about whether Trump's backers would turn out. Now, right? Here's the thing. To me, that's a stupid question. If the Trump voters will turn out. If they turned out to January 6th, they're gonna for sure turn out to the damn voting booth. Would you guys agree with that logic? If you guys agree with that logic, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with that logic, then give me a thumbs down. If they turned out to January 6th, they gonna for sure turn out to the voting booths. You know what I'm saying? That's a silly question to ask. He was about 30 points clear in the polls, and as just about every preview of the caucuses noted, Iowans were experiencing, look at this, savagely cold weather, 45 savage cold weather. That's what they was experiencing. And they went on out there anyway. Even Trump seemed to fear complacency setting in, telling supporters at one rally he held during the final weekend in Indianola that they should caucus as if we are 1 point down. And I think that that's just motivation. To me, anytime you're involved in any type of competition or anytime you're involved in any type of competitive confrontation, you should always be fighting as if you're trying to win a come from behind victory. Would you guys agree? Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotion says, Rob, what do you think his crowd thinks he is? A modern day folk hero, meaning Trump? I think that a lot of them think that he's God. A lot of these people, especially after Kanye said all that wild stuff that he said, a lot of these people literally actually, like, for real believe dude is like God or like some incarnation of like the second coming of Christ, man. It's crazy how wild, like, that's why so many evangelicals like are behind him. We're going to react to some of the just wild nonsense that people believe. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's what I believe. I think Trump is better suited to be the president than Biden, and that's about it. I've never hidden that. And I think most of us agree. However, that's contingent on who is available as a choice to analyze for president, right? Which, like I said, when all of this first began, it's a bad state of affairs when you have to assess Joe Biden versus Trump as the people driving the vehicle of the United States. It's a wild situation. But if we're talking about driving a vehicle of the United States, I saw Joe Biden drive a vehicle called a bicycle, and you saw what happened with that. DC Precise says you have to have a pulse and wear a diaper to be in contention. They're going to have Mitch McConnell up there. They're going to have a real weekend with Bernie up there. Bernie Sanders and the actual weekend with Bernie. Bro, they really do. They really do. I'm telling, man, we're going to get into some of that insanity on this channel. See, old boy should have left me alone in the comment section. So now he actually got something to complain about. And this channel going to be lit too. So it's going to be a lot of people watching. And he really going to be mad. But he'll be all right. So now here it says, meanwhile, aides began playing down expectations for a blowout victory. They need not have worried. The MAGA battalion showed up in force, carrying Trump to a 30-point victory and, importantly, lifting him above 50% of all votes cast. To be fair, DeSantis also got his vote out. But Haley underperformed slightly, falling from the second place predicted in polls to third. Some Trump detractors hope that his support might be soft or exaggerated in the polls. They were wrong in Iowa. There's no reason to think they'll be right elsewhere. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that there's a lot of reason to think that they'll be right elsewhere. We've already looked at a lot of the polls. We've already looked at a lot of the information. What we're finding here is that what went on in Iowa is consistent with all of the information that we've seen. Wouldn't you guys say? For the most part, the Iowa caucus is substantiating all of the information that we've been watching. So now here it says there is no sole alternative, right? They don't want a cheap knockoff, which is what we've said. So if you're a cheap knockoff and you're in the race, right? Like if you're some type of generic cola and you're in the race and Coca-Cola is available, why is somebody going to vote for or get the generic cola? Why would you get Brand X fake MAGA, Brand X fake Make America Great Again with Ramaswamy or with DeSantis when you can actually, the real thing is actually available? If you're one of those voters, you're going to go for Trump. You can't be a knockoff and attempt to compete against the real thing. Like, that's a crazy strategy. Anybody who tries that and thinks that they're going to succeed, that is wild. And they're wildly delusional if they think that they're going to do that and succeed. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Monday's results were almost perfect for Trump because in addition to the resounding margin of his victory, DeSantis and Haley were separated by only 2 percentage points. The narrowness of the difference and the fact that DeSantis secured second place means that the Florida governor and former UN ambassador will likely stay in the race for some time to come. The longer Trump can put off a one-on-one matchup, the greater the chances that his lead will become impregnable, especially in the delicate race that ultimately decides the nominee. I don't think Trump is ever going to have to deal with a one-on-one. I think that this is going to be a blowout for the most part everywhere that he goes. I don't think that Trump is going to have to deal with a one-on-one until he's directly running against Democrats. What do you guys think? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says, in addition, it's far from clear that DeSantis backers would migrate en masse to Haley if the Florida governor dropped out. Iowa underlined how the supposed alternatives to Trump have huge vulnerabilities. Iowa seemed tailor-made for DeSantis because of the influence of religious and social conservatives in the GOP caucuses. Didn't help. See that? He lost by 30 points. So that didn't help anything. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. What's good with it, Brooklyn Queen? Haley struggled mightily to win the support of voters without a college education, an important block within the GOP. Yo, that's crazy that people without a college education is an important block in your constituency. I want y'all to just sit back and think about that. They actually have a uneducated block as part of their voter base. And these are the very people that want to sit there and call everybody else low IQ and uncivilized. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. What do y'all think about that? That's wild. According to the Associated Press VoteCast survey, caucus goers without a college degree outnumbered those with a college degree 61% to 30%. So this is what they're dealing with there as far as education goes. So they are truly, right? This isn't even a dig. This isn't even a knock. They are truly appealing to the quote unquote uneducated voter base. Like for real. Like it's not even a game. Like, yeah, bro, if you don't have a degree, come holler at me. I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Did you drop out of high school? Come holler at me. They doing it like that out there. Facts. Shout out to Tetra. And that tells you something about that political party. I want y'all to pay very close attention. That political party really wants to secure the vote of uneducated white voters, but they don't care about any black voters. Educated or not. And when it comes to the Republicans, what this statistic shows is that in their eyes, an uneducated white person is more valuable of a vote than any black person. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important I don't think that it's the best strategy for people to just fly off the handle and say, Trump 2024, because they butthurt about the Democrats and the Democrat treachery. There's nothing wrong with sitting the election out. But to me, if you jump ship from the Democrats to the Republicans, you've literally done nothing. You basically went through a revolving door and came back out on the inside. Like, you went all the way through the revolving door. Like, you went, tried to go out, walked outside, revolved it back in, and came back on the inside, and then just walked right back into wherever you was at. That's what you did. Among the larger group, Haley received just 12% support. Trump got 63%. The geographical path to beating him is vanishing narrowly. It's not only a question of Trump's numerical dominance, there's also the primary calendar and Iowa's impact on the contest soon to come to consider. Haley has long seen her best chance of upsetting Trump to be in New Hampshire. So now this is why we're going to be looking at New Hampshire very, 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 very closely with a fine-tooth comb. Because what they're saying is that the state where Nikki Haley has the best chance to defeat Trump is New Hampshire. Now, my question to you all is, how many people think that Haley is going to defeat Trump in New Hampshire? If you think that that's going to happen, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's going to happen, then give me a thumbs down. So now here it says unaffiliated voters in the Granite State can show up on primary day and request a ballot for either party's contest. This, combined with New Hampshire's history of delivering upsets, seems to make the state fertile ground for Haley. In the polling average maintained by The Hill and Decision Desk HQ, Haley has closed to within 8 points of Trump. But even if Haley were to win the January 23rd New Hampshire primary, what then? Her hopes would rest on the primary voters in her home state of South Carolina rallying to her side. I don't think that Nikki Haley has that much support in South Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I don't think that's happening. What do y'all think? They conspicuously have not so far. Trump leads her in the DDHQ polling average by more than 2-1. Haley's third place in Iowa deprives her of a tailwind going into New Hampshire. As for DeSantis, it's just not clear what his path is. Perhaps the plan is to survive New Hampshire and South Carolina, where he trails far behind, hopes Haley to drop out and magically defeat Trump on Super Tuesday on March 5th. Now, do you all believe in magic? Is this magic going to happen for DeSantis? I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. I think DeSantis is going to go home big mad, and it just is going to be what it is. The chances of that actually happening look close to zero. When all is said and done, it's Trump's party. I agree with that. I mean, to me, like, that, for the most part, is what is going to be reinforced everywhere we look. Every little isolated event that we study, that's exactly what we're going to see. Now, what's interesting about this, right? Now, do you guys see how Trump is definitively just smashing everybody in the GOP? Here's my question. Is Biden going to do that with the Democrats? Is Biden going to definitively smash everybody everywhere he goes? Trump's rivals have clearly made mistakes, including Team DeSantis' well-documented internal strife and Haley's more recent propensity for important missteps. but their detractors often fail to grapple with a bigger reality. It may be that Trump is simply unbeatable in a GOP primary in 2024. And honestly, I think that that is actually the situation. It's just that simple for them. It's just this simple for them. This is the reality of it. The reality of it is that Trump has a monopoly on the GOP. A lot of them people in the GOP, they don't accept it. But that's what it is, though. That's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, consider just a few data points. 62% of Iowa caucus goers, according to the AP's VoteCast, consider themselves supporters of the Make America Great Again movement that is synonymous with Trump. Beliefs that once threatened to put Trump behind the pale of no longer do. 63% of caucus goers falsely believe Biden's election was illegitimate. So that's wild. 63% of the people that went to that Iowa caucus believe that Biden's election was illegitimate. You know what I'm saying? Speeches in which he warns of terrorists crossing the southern border, once deeply controversial, now cause barely a ripple. The same goes for his quote-unquote false claims of election fraud. The data from Iowa is consistent with the national picture too, and that's exactly what I said. But I want you guys to understand, this article here says the data from Iowa is consistent with the national picture. Yet up here, it says there's no reason to believe that the trend that went down in Iowa will follow throughout the country. So make that make sense. In the most recent Economist YouGov poll, 82% of Republicans said they held favorable impressions of Trump. 82%. That means that only 18% don't see Trump as favorable. That's wild. Haley and DeSantis have their flaws for sure, but nobody knows how Trump can be beaten in today's GOP. Here's the reality. The reality is that Trump cannot be beaten in today's GOP. That's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? So next, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the Iowa voters. All right. Now, how many of you all knew that when it comes to the Iowa voters, one of the major issues that they have is immigration? Now, I want to ask you guys this question. What kind of effects of immigration are they facing in Iowa? Make that make sense. If you guys haven't smashed the like button, also, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment. Make sure you guys hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. Also, very important, if you're not subscribed to @MAGATRON 645 on Twitter, please take a moment and subscribe to that on Twitter.
We are just hours away from the Iowa caucuses, the first voting in the 2024 presidential election. Republicans will brave frigid temperatures as they head to the polls tonight to pick their party's presidential nominee. Our Tony DeCopel is on the ground for us. He is in the state capitol following all of this for us. Good morning, Tony. You spoke with GOP hopeful Ron DeSantis earlier this morning, and he talked about illegal immigration at the southern border and what he thinks needs to be done to fix the issue. Let's take a listen.
When you had people that came to Ellis Island, if they couldn't work, they didn't get in.
It's not true.
If they didn't like the, if they were going to be a burden, a public charge, that was a no-no. They did not want. They wanted people that were going to come and work and do that. If you had said you didn't believe in American values, they would not have let you. So we've gone.
Where's the proof of any of what Ron DeSantis is saying? None of what Ron DeSantis is saying is true. They let people in based on whether they wanted to or not based on any kind of work ethic. How do you track the work ethic of people who are undocumented? Because those people were undocumented back then. It's crazy when they just let people talk. Man, it's crazy. Do y'all hear some of the insanity that comes out of these people's mouths when you just sit there and let them talk? Look at how crazy.
Away from the idea of assimilation, and we need to go more towards the idea of assimilation with respect to legal immigration.
So, Tony, this idea of heading back in the direction of assimilation, is that resonating with people in Iowa?
Oh, boy, is it resonating in a huge, huge way. Immigration is the #1 thing that gets people talking here in Iowa, even more so than the economy, in my experience. And that's, on the face of it, kind of strange because we're more than 1,000 miles from the Mexico border and the border crisis down there. However, when you think about all the different...
Shout out to Carlton. What's good with it, Carlton?
Different areas of life that the immigration issue intersects with, you realize, okay, it's drugs. I-35 goes all the way up from Mexico. People are worried about fentanyl. The economy, people think that the job is being taken by these newcomers or low wage. They're going to drive down wages overall for people. And then there's that really big and charged question of American culture and assimilation. On one level, it is a timeless American question.
So what this basically means is that when it comes to this assimilation question, is that white people are disgruntled that people are coming to the United States and not submitting to white culture. That's what that means, essentially. They're not going to say it in those harsher terms, but that's what that means. If you guys agree that that's what that means, give me a thumbs up. If you don't agree that that's what that means, then give me a thumbs down. They don't want to say it that way, but they want people to do that. Shout out to Carlton. Wait, MAGATRON bots roll out.
Quotes from Ben Franklin in the 1700s complaining about the swarthy Germans, that's his word, and the Swedes and the French, and how he doesn't want to be overrun by any of them.
Swarthy Germans, right? Now, when they say swarthy, what does swarthy mean? This is white people talking. Anybody in the comment section who knows what swarthy means, drop it in the comment section.
Timeless American question. There are quotes from Ben Franklin in the 1700s complaining about the swarthy Germans, that's his word, and the Swedes and the French, and how he doesn't want to be overrun by any of them. They speak a funny language and they smell like sauerkraut. So we've gone through this before as a country. Today seems to be for reasons that you can't quite get at.
Now, mind you, this particular stuff that he's talking about right here, this is white people talking about other white people. So when they don't have non-white groups to focus on right in front of them, this is what they do to each other. Facts. Shout out to everybody that said that dark skin is black. Facts. Shout out to Lehman Lucas. What's good with it, bro? So this right here, because what he's talking about is history. And if you guys recall, when it comes to Benjamin Franklin, he's one of the so-called intellectuals and distinguished, enlightened Renaissance gentlemen of the time. And this is what Benjamin Franklin was pushing. Just for reference.
1800s complaining about the swarthy Germans, that's his word, and the Swedes and the French, and how he doesn't want to be overrun by any of them. They speak a funny language and they smell like sauerkraut. So we've gone through this before as a country. today seems to be, for reasons that you can't quite get at in a conversation with people, different in the voters' minds. They really do worry that something about the scale of the new people coming here and something about who they are makes them feel like this is just different. And so that's why I put the question to Ron.
Well, one thing about the quote unquote question of who they are is that we don't know who they are. That's kind of important. I mean, like, I want you guys, do you guys see how the mainstream media here is attempting to portray the migrant crisis? No, you know, people just have these weird apprehensions and we just can't put our fingers on why. Seriously? Really? Shout out to Shamika Gray. What's good with it, Shamika? I'm going to ask you guys a question. Is he being honest about the concerns with the migrant crisis? If he is, give me a thumbs up. If he is not, then give me a thumbs down.
About what really is so different, you know, because he's an Italian, he's of Italian descent. I am as well. We both happen to know our family histories. If you showed up before 1920, 98% of the people who got to Ellis Island walked off of a boat, and as long as you didn't hit your head on something, you were allowed to stay. And so what's so different really morally between those folks then?
Or as long as you weren't black, because there's that. And they don't want to talk about that. That's a thing. That was an issue. That was reality. So again, we got to pay very close attention to this revisionist history because that's what we got going on. We got a whole bunch of revisionist history popping off over here. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you haven't smashed that like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you have not, hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. Please take a moment, hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you have not shared the stream to your social media, please take a moment and share the stream to your social media.
Great-grandparents, his great-grandparents, and the people now. And I think everybody wants border security. No one wants terrorists and drug dealers and bad folks coming in. But we also all have to ask ourselves, for that future great-grandparent coming over today, that's part of the American experiment. That's part of the American tradition. That's part of the new energy that makes this country ever born.
Now, I don't know, right? Because we never really had a normal interaction with any of that. So, you know, I can't sit here and say that I can appreciate these same sentiments or like, you know, I can quote unquote appreciate this message. The reality that people don't want to come to grips to is that there was a huge contingent of people, foundational Black Americans, that were not included in any of this. So it wasn't just a smiley, fun, good time. And we shouldn't have to act like it was a smiley, fun, good time just to make other people feel good who are currently still benefiting from the stolen benefits that they got from conducting business in this country the way that they did. And we're not going to try to make anybody feel comfortable about that. That's the reality that you're going to deal with if you're listening to content over here. You know what I'm saying?
A really good perspective and a good way of putting it. Tony, I want to ask about Trump because he's overwhelmingly leading in the polls. What are the other candidates doing at this point to close that gap? Is it closable?
I mean, it's not going to be closable. I mean, what are they doing? They're wishing, they're hoping, they're praying.
So it seems like for the GOP, anybody beating or catching up with Trump has the same fate as the migrant crisis. It's beating Trump for people in the GOP is unsustainable. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
They're holding rallies, but it's not closable in this vote tonight. I mean, I think it would be, and if Donald Trump were to somehow lose the Iowa caucus tonight, the entire polling industry would have to quit and move out of the country and never show their face again because they say he's up by so much, and I have to say, anecdotally, just walking around and talking to people, he does have huge support here. So I think he's going to win it in Iowa. But you know, a strong second place showing from Haley or DeSantis changes the narrative, and then you know Haley has a good shot. shot of winning New Hampshire. That's not out of the question. And then it's kind of an open race to South Carolina. And I know Trump has some advantages there, but so does Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis.
Hey, wait till y'all see this next article, man. I'm dead at the title of this.
Kansas would make his pitch as well. So it could be anyone's ball game at that point. So Iowa really, really does matter for that reason.
Okay, lots to follow here. Tony DeCopel, thanks so much.
All right, so there's that. All right. So the people in Iowa are very concerned with immigration, even though we don't really know why they are. They're really deep in the interior. There's nobody sending anybody there. Just kind of an interesting, we're concerned about some shit that we're not dealing with. Okay. Now, your girl Marjorie Taylor Greene is always out of pocket. She stay out of pocket. She's now this news article, these people called Meow here, they said, can he start with you? I'm dead. Marjorie Taylor Greene got slammed for claiming that Trump will launch mass deportations on day one if reelected. Now, technically, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't say that. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Trump said that, didn't he? So they slamming her because she reinforced it and Trump said it. So now here it says, during a recent speech at Boone, Iowa, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene delivered a passionate address in which she lauded former President Donald Trump and urged Iowan voters to caucus for him in the upcoming 2024 election. The Congresswoman dedicated her speech to discussing immigration policy, where she declared her and Trump's commitment to quote-unquote mass deportations if he is reelected, per a report by The Hill. Now, as far as dealing with the migrant crisis, that might be one of the things that makes people more likely to vote for Trump. And honestly, I think that the Republicans are kind of actually watching social media, and they're seeing a lot of, how people feel about the migrant crisis. And they're going to try to manipulate people's feelings on the migrant crisis to try to act like we have some type of common issue to galvanize votes for the GOP, and then turn around and shit on black people every time they get on Fox News, which is one of the reasons why I keep telling people you shouldn't give it to them that easy. It's the same thing as prom night. Don't give it up so damn easy. If you want to get married, don't give it up easy. That's one of the reasons why the Democrats keep screwing black people over. The Democrats treat their most faithful voter base the same way, you know what I'm saying, people get gamed on. If you give it up easy, you get screwed, and then it's time to leave. And I'll come back when it's time to screw you again. Leave the back door open. I'm going to lock it when I leave. 2016 come along. You know what I'm saying? It's time for some fun, time for some one-night stand. We're about to get it in. It's about to be great. You ain't going to see me again for another 4 years. Now it's time. It's time. People got to stop, man. People got to stop. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, in her speech, Greene focused on the importance of immigration policy and promised that the GOP would prioritize it in the future. The Republican Congresswoman highlighted the need for strict measures, including mass deportations, to address the pressing issue of immigration, which she believes has been neglected too long. Now, you guys are going to be really surprised. I disagree that mass deportations will be effective as far as dealing with the border crisis. Why do I feel that way? I feel that way because if the people have already gotten into the country, then that means that the border has already failed. So you shouldn't be deporting people. You should minimize your deportations. And what you need to do is make sure that people are not entering the border. The border needs to be sealed airtight. If you have to do mass deportations, you're not effectively managing the border. Deportations should, in theory, decrease as border security and border effectiveness increases. If you have to do a continued wave of mass deportations, what that shows is that you're doing nothing to stop people from coming into the border. And remember, we isolated the two borders, the two variables. The first variable is border encounters and illegal border crossings. The number of illegal border crossings needs to decrease. If the number of illegal border crossings decreases, the deportation numbers will automatically decrease because not as many people are getting in. If you guys agree with that logic, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. Now, when I say that I don't think that mass deportations will be effective, does that mean that I don't feel that mass deportations are necessary if people are tried and found to have entered the border illegally? No. No. What I'm saying is that if the pre-deportation methods are effective, then the amount of deportations will automatically decrease. That's what I'm saying. And it's 2024. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be doing a lot of explaining of shit. If people don't get shit the first time, you fail the class. You know what I'm saying? 2024, I'm not going to be doing all that wasting time. Well, I'm not talking about this and I'm not talking about everybody. I don't give a shit about none of that. If you want to get offended, then go ahead and get offended. If you're that dumb that you don't know that when somebody makes a statement, it's impossible for them to be talking in absolutes, I don't know what to tell you. And now I'm not talking about the core of the people that watch the content. Shout out to you all, because you all already know, right? I'm talking about the people that you only see once or twice and they just get all offended. We don't care. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. We don't care. You guys think that that's a good way to go to move forward? If you guys think that that's a good way to move forward, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that is a good way to move forward, give me a thumbs down. And it's okay if you don't. It's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, what did Marjorie Taylor Greene say during her speech in Boone on Monday? And so they keep calling this woman a firebrand. You know what I'm saying? And unless they're calling her a firebrand based on some type of discovery of venereal diseases, I don't know why they continue to call her a firebrand. And Trump loyalists said, what we've seen happen to our country under Joe Biden should never happen. Over 10 million illegal aliens have come into this country. 1.8 million gotaways. We have to fight for a secure border, and President Trump will do that. And he will start mass deportations on day one, she added. And I can't wait to see it happen. So let's see what she said.
What we've seen happen to our country under Joe Biden should never happen. Over 10 million illegal aliens have come into this country. 1.8 million gotaways. These are people.
All right, so they cut her off. Not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? In his latest presidential campaign, Trump has stepped up his quote-unquote anti-immigrant rhetoric, promising the greatest deportation campaign in American history if reelected, and has opted for an increasingly dictatorial language when speaking about the matter in front of his supporters. The former president sounded off by saying that migrants, and he didn't say migrants, he said illegal aliens, are poisoning to the blood of our country, a notion that has resonated with his voter base despite being compared to, the National Socialist terminology of Germany. Now, it's interesting, right? When people start comparing stuff to the German National Socialists, you know who owns that operation. That's a dead giveaway of who owns that operation. Oh, we know who's paying the light bill at that place. He has also promised to reinstate and expand the travel ban targeting Muslim countries, which was criticized by civil rights groups as discriminatory, racist, and xenophobic when it was originally implemented during his first term at the White House in 2017. The 77-year-old GOP presidential frontrunner has also pledged to bring a stop to birthright citizenship, a move that can be described as too extreme when tackling immigration reforms. Now, my question is, why would that be looked at as too extreme? How do you all feel about that? How do you feel about that? Green, one of Trump's most prominent congressional backers, referred to migrants as terrorists and pointedly connected them to Hamas militants during her speech on Monday. They're in our country, and you can bet many of them are terrorists who would like to attack our country here, just like Israel was attacked by Hamas terrorists over there, she stated. So now they say the internet mocks Marjorie Taylor Greene. People on X slammed the Republican congresswoman from Georgia for speaking too much too soon, as detractors and contrarians argued that Trump would have the win if the re-election first to deliver on his ambitious campaign promises. So I think this is the same 11-second clip. But yeah, it's the same 11-second clip. So now this is hilarious, right? Look at this. It said that Trump will start mass deportations on day one, and I can't wait to see it happen. And then this person right here, Alan Cruz, said, "Can he start with you?" So I thought that was funny as hell. Another user quipped, "Hopefully she'll be deported to space so that she can use her space lasers." Another said GOP uses the immigration as a tool to win elections. Isn't it fair to say that the Democrats use immigration as a tool to win elections? If it's fair game to say that the Democrats use immigration to win elections, give me a thumbs up. If that's not fair game, if that's not fair to say, then give me a thumbs down. I think that that's pretty fair to say. I think that's a pretty fair thing to say. Somebody asked, can they deport Marjorie Taylor Greene instead? If you want to see Marjorie Taylor Greene deported, throw some flames in the chat. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. One user claimed, never mind that this would be illegal and logistically impossible. We'll just tell everyone that that's what we'll do anyway. So now finally it says this user tweeted, there won't ever be another day one for Trump. Well, that's not what it's looking like in the polls. So now we're going to look at this video here real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna turn that sound off. And the reason I'm gonna turn that sound off is because y'all know how they do as far as the copyrights go. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't missing nothing on this. This video is corny, is lame. You know what? Actually, hold on real quick. Let me see if they let me see something real quick. Yeah, man, they ain't. Yeah, we ain't doing that. All right. So next, we're gonna look at the Trump legal issues real quick. All right. Because you know your boy Trump can't stay out of the courtroom. More content. Got an article from Newsweek here. Donald Trump, evidence tossed out of court by judge. Trump got so many damn cases going on. I don't even know what the hell this shit is. I don't even know what they talking about. What evidence? Trump got more shit going on than YSB and all them. YSL, Young Slime life, Young Trump life. Shit. He got court cases in every damn state. Shit crazy. So now here says the judge overseeing the defamation lawsuit filed against Donald Trump by writer E. Jean Carroll has rejected some evidence the former president to introduce during the civil trial, as it was found to be irrelevant to the case. Probably because it was the same as what Trump be doing, just babbling about something. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan ruled on Sunday that Trump's legal team cannot present an interview to the jury that Carroll did with CNN's Anderson Cooper in 2019 or suggest that Carroll has hoped to garner media attention for her book in order to boost sales as a way to discredit her. Okay? How many people knew that Trump was getting sued by this person here? If y'all knew that Trump was getting sued by this person, Jean Carroll, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not know that, then give me a thumbs down. They said that he sexually harassed her. This woman right here on the screen right here. This lady right here. They trying to say that he sexually harassed her. Now, let me ask you this question. If I'm laughing at that like that, does that count as ageism? I'm just curious. Denying that he sexually assaulted her at a New York department store dressing room in the 90s. Man, Trump just went into the damn New York. Hold on, man. What do y'all think about this? Hold on, we got to break this down. She said that Trump assaulted her at a New York department store dressing room in the 1990s. So she was up in Woolworth. She was up in Woolworth trying on some clothes, and then Trump just kicked in the door, trying to grab her by the pee. Really? Including saying in 2019 that she's not my type and that Carroll made up the attack to sell copies of her book. Kaplan ruled in September of 2023 that Trump had defamed Carroll, and the civil trial that is to begin on Tuesday, January 16th, will serve to determine the damages that the latter owed. Now, they sitting up here saying that he did, again, I'm about to show y'all, they saying that he harassed this lady on the screen. Okay. The lawsuit is separate from another. So he got another lawsuit, a sexual battery and defamation case filed by Carroll, in which a jury found Trump liable for sexually abusing Carroll at a Bergdorf Goodman store and then defaming her by denying that the assault took place. A jury ordered the former president to pay Carroll $5 million in damages in May of 2023. Now, how many of y'all believe that this happened here? Is Trump just assaulting people at department stores and shit? He was at the Kaufman's, the May Company, the J.C. Penney's, Macy's or some shit, and just busting in the door, grabbing people by the P word. Nah, we didn't have gimballs. Man, this is crazy. So now here says ahead of the civil trial, Kaplan said that Trump's lawyers could not try and argue to the jury that the former president did not grape or sexually assault Carroll, as it was not relevant to the defamation case. How is it not relevant to the defamation case when he's saying that she's saying that stuff to sell a book? Yeah, they got this, man, if I was him, I would be trying to get my lawyers to do some type of change of venue or something, because this ain't they're gonna get him for all kind of money with this. So now here it says Carroll's lawyers then wrote to the judge accusing the former president's attorneys of trying to circumvent the ruling by introducing evidence that would try and prejudice Carroll's versions of events or attack her character. This includes a 2019 interview Carroll did on CNN, in which she said that most people think of grape as sexy and they think of the fantasies. I don't think that most people think of grape as sexy. And I don't think that most people have grape fantasies. And it's weird that she said that. Most people don't just come out talking about some stuff like that. That's kind of weird. So now they say that Trump has frequently misconstrued these comments to suggest that Carol enjoyed being sexually assaulted, or thinks grape is sexy, rather than discussing views others may hold. Who are the others that hold those views? What about the fact that a lot of people project stuff onto people and they'll say, yeah, people say this, when they're actually talking about themselves? Because who's sitting up there saying that about that? This trial is limited to the issue of damages sustained as a result of the defendant's June 21st and 22nd, 2019 statements. Those statements already have been determined to have been false, defamatory, and made with constitutional actual malice, Kaplan wrote. The introduction of the Anderson Cooper 360 video needlessly and confusingly would invite the jury to decide on this case on the basis of the defendant's view that those issues are open to discussion or reconsideration. They're not. Shout out to Cameron Jones. What's good with it, bro? Kaplan also rejected evidence which relates to Carol appearing in the media to promote her 2019 book, What Do We Need Men For? A Modest Proposal, where she detailed the assault against her. So this lady writing books with this kind of title is clearly a feminist, and it's just okay that she can write a book like this. One thing that she needs men for is to preside over this case and give her money. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the exhibits show no more than Miss Carol, like any author of a new book, was eager in July and September 2019 to garner media attention for her book in order to drive sales, Kaplan said. They are not probative, at least to any material extent, of whether and to what extent Mr. Trump's June 21st and 22nd, 2019 defamatory statements caused reputational or emotional damage to Miss Carol. Trump's legal team has been contacted for comment via email. The judge did reject the request to prevent Trump's lawyer to call Carol Martin, who previously testified in the sexual battery trial, that the former Elle columnist confided in her shortly after the attack as a witness in the defamation case. Kaplan said that Carol's attorneys were unable to show that Martin would not be able to present any admissible testimony if she took the stand, and that they will have the opportunity to object to any part of her testimony from being admissible during the proceedings if she is called a witness. Trump is not under obligation to attend the civil trial in New York, although he has indicated he will do so at some point, including possibly to testify in his defense. Trump is currently on the campaign trail in Iowa ahead of the first in the nation GOP caucus on Monday night. Kaplan has already ruled that Trump defamed Carol with his 2019 comments, and the upcoming civil trial will mainly determine how much in damages Trump will have to pay Carol. So now it seems like a lot of these places where these judges are making these decisions are in liberal areas where, the judges are not favorable with the decisions or are not favorable with Trump. So they're making these rulings, kind of making some weird and strange rulings. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep up on this. Make sure you guys let me know in the comment sections afterwards if you guys want me to keep up on this. Also, make sure that you're part of the Discord. Make sure that you follow the Twitter account. That is extremely important. Make sure that if you guys see any topics that you want to talk about, you guys put them in the Discord. I try to get to them. Sometimes they overlap. Sometimes I miss them. Regardless, this is what we're going to be doing over here. All right. I think that this was a strong first stream on this channel. Shout out to all the Decepticons in the building, the MAGATRONians. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button if y'all haven't hit it. Please make sure that you guys leave lots of comments at the end of the stream. We're going to get to 500 subs on this channel in no time. Shout out to my man Torian. What's good with it, bro? I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to be talking about some stuff later on, so make sure you got the notification bell hit. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,